Hello? Wait, we're not on, Riker. I'm not. Hello? Hello? Oh, there we are. Hello. I keep saying hello. Hey, we're back. Monday afternoon, 3 o'clock p.m. Addiction, recovery, and resources. Well, hope in the middle of that. Capital hope. Always got to have hope, right? Yeah. I'm here with my man, JR. Good guy, was willing to come on the show in not even a lot of notice, and which I love about the recovery community is that there's so many people willing to help. We could probably do this show for the next 25 years with all the people that have succeeded and have a story to tell, and I'm grateful for that. Today we're going to talk to JR and let him tell where he's been, as we usually do, where he's been and how he got to where he is and where he's going, and maybe we'll talk about where he's at in his career now, and absolutely helping in the recovery community, helping to save lives, even though he probably will humbly say, I just do a little bit. I'm sure he does a lot. I know he comes highly recommended. JR, take it away.
All right, well, thank you, Heston. I'm kind of nervous. I don't get nervous a whole lot. But...
You should have saw me my first show. It was awful.
Well, I guess I start kind of from the beginning. I'm from Utah. You know, I was born here, born up north, West Valley. Stayed there till about 4th grade. Moved to Vegas. Then came to here, St. George, 6th grade. It was a long time ago. I went to Woodward. If anybody knows that, you know, I've been here for a while. So it's our old 6th grade center we used to have here a long time ago. Everybody went to the same 6th grade center. Right there in the middle of town.
So you've watched a lot of growth here.
Oh, gosh,
Dang.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I could tell you a lot of stories about the growth here for sure. And it's been cool, but, yeah, it's busy. When I got here, you drove around on Sunday, and there was no traffic at all. Like, Sunday drives were cool with me and my dad when I first got here.
Yeah.
It was cool. But, yeah, I guess to stick mostly to the addiction thing. I mean, I felt like I was blessed. Honestly, I grew up pretty good. You know, my siblings, it teased me a little bit when I say this, but I felt like my first memories, it was like Leave It to Beaver world. You know, I felt pretty sheltered, pretty protected. Yeah, we went to church on Sundays. Mom and Dad went to work. Everything was pretty good. They don't remember that. You know, by the time they started remembering things started changing a little bit, went through some trauma and everything. Marriages split up and life happens and everything.
Been there.
Yeah. So there was some stuff like that. And I'm sure in our society now, it seems like most people go through kind of some of that similar stuff. You know?
People tell me, like, I'll hear someone, we were married 30 years. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that
I've
doesn't
never done nothing for 30 years.
Yeah. My hat's off to those folks. I like that.
Amazing.
I like that stuff a lot. So
True.
I got here. I started experimenting with the party scene. You know what I mean? Like middle school was my age. I started doing that kind of stuff, and at first that was really fun. You know, that was my goal in life. Actually, once I started to experience with the substances, you know, especially the green ones that grow out of the ground, that was going to be my life. You know, I wanted to be the my life goal. If anybody knew me for a while, knew me back then, I was going to be the productive guy that did that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
I wanted to beat all the stereotypes. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That connects with me so much, because that's absolutely where I was. You know, it gave me, at first it gave me more energy, and I thought, how did people say you're lazy? I'm not lazy. It only takes a matter of time.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I didn't never consider myself a lazy person. I had good jobs, took care of responsibilities, had good people around me too, and that wasn't ever really an issue. I don't know when it became an issue, but I know it became a lifestyle immediately. It wasn't a recreational thing. Immediately right away, I wanted that as a lifestyle, and took that on as a permanent goal, and they didn't really have a whole lot of life issues and stuff. So I fought the whole idea of being an addict or addiction or anything like that. I mean, I fought that stuff.
There's a lot of stigmatism out there. Of an addict is someone that's in the gutter.
Yeah,
it's not true.
No.
I worked so good at my jobs. My bosses were just impressed.
Oh yeah,
and they had no idea.
Yeah. Yeah, there was many people that worked side by side with me for years and years and years, and when they found out that I always had a chemical inside my body, they were blown away. They couldn't relate. They didn't understand that, and I wore that like a badge of honor.
Yeah,
I
right.
really did.
Me
Like
too.
I was cool, you know. And yeah, that went on for years and years and years. And eventually it stopped. I I got my ego. I've got this ego thing, you know, that
I got
told
it.
me that I was so cool. I could probably master all the chemicals that they said were bad and all these other substances, and that was not one of my best ideas ever
Right.
to try and incorporate all these different chemicals and be able to master them. And yeah, that's probably when it got really out of control. I mean, definitely had a substance abuse problem before then, but was managing life, maintaining life just fine, and nobody could tell me that I was doing anything wrong at
Right.
all. You know, I paid my bills, took care of my obligations for a long time. When it started getting out of control, you still couldn't tell me anything. You know, I started losing good jobs. Started having issues in all areas of my life, and but you still couldn't tell me anything.
And if
you know?
if someone did try to tell you anything, then you push them away.
Oh yeah. Well, and unfortunately, through my story, there's a lot of people that did just had to let me go. I pulled away from them, family members.
Yeah.
Those substances started becoming way more important than anything out there, and the lies. You know, the saying that I was okay, and
Yeah.
trying to convince everybody that I didn't have a problem.
I'm just working
you
too
know?
much.
Yeah.
Can't come to family dinner.
Even when I didn't have a job for
Yeah,
a long time.
exactly.
You know? Might show up to family dinner for an appearance, and then
Yeah.
you know, family always knew that if I did show up, that was great and everything, but it wasn't going to be for very long. I always had somewhere else to go, something more important
Yeah.
to be a part of, which it's hard to admit some of those things now, you know what I mean? But I think it's important to do that at the same time for where I'm at now. So yeah, that kind of progressed, and my story is you know, like talking about a little bit before the show, there was a lot of close people around me that passed away. And those aren't fun things to talk about, you know.
Yeah.
People that know me and that know my story were there and everything, and there were some very beautiful lives that didn't make it through this process for whatever reason and stuff like that. And today stopped trying to figure that stuff out. I got after dealing with some of the grief of my wife, my second wife, she passed away, and I got to give a shout out to a good friend of mine that told me I needed some help. You know, I was in the emergency room. I had this great idea that if I took enough of one substance to knock myself out for 3 or 4 days, you know, that I'd wake up and everything would be fixed.
Yeah.
It'd all be better. You know what I mean? And I ended up in the emergency room, and Sherry Dominguez was working in there that day, and she'd been a friend of mine for a very long time and kind of seen this journey that I'd been on, and she told me that I needed some help. I agreed. I did need some help, you know, for sure.
Yeah.
I was in there in the emergency room. My hand wouldn't work right. I was stuck like this. I'd passed out on this nerve back here, and they didn't know if my hand was going to start working again or not.
Hey.
And anyway, I took her up on that. You know, it was really hard. Like I said, I didn't know if I deserved help. But I knew I needed it. And I'm like, so if you're going to tell me that I need it, what does that look like? You know, what does that mean? And her
Right.
and a few other friends, her husband now, Brogan, and you know, my other friends, John and Amy, that I just love to death. They got together and showed me how to get into treatment. There was a few people that there was a group effort to get me to treatment and to detox. And there's a lot more people. There's so many people that were involved in this process. I just honestly can't mention them all.
Right.
I went to treatment for the first time. Therapia was the first treatment center that I went to. It was a great program. There's some special people that worked at that program. Got me to start to look at some things. You know what I mean? Look at my ego, humbling myself down. but even through that program, I think I still wanted to get back out and be what I consider to be a recreational user. You know what I mean? I still wanted to drink beers here and
I just
there.
won't get as far as I did. I'll catch it this time.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna barrel down into the depths of where I was.
Hell.
Yeah. And I needed some help, going through that grieving process. There aren't words that can express how truly horrible and saddening that was, and the ripple effects of that are still being felt by people that, anyway,
Yeah.
So it was bad. So anyway, I got out of there, and even though I was walking the walk, and I had my completion paper from treatment that I was fixed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've graduated.
I graduated, Yeah, the other things started popping up, other behaviors that I didn't realize I wasn't using drugs. There's other things that you can use to get outside of your feelings and not work on, that void that we addicts have inside of ourselves. There's a lot of different things, and I didn't want to look at that. Stubborn, ego,
Yeah.
And eventually, I started trying to use responsibly again. The lies started again. People close to me. And man, I tried every which way it was almost 2 years. I tried just about every different way to be a responsible user. And for me, I mean, I could do that stuff. I could have a beer or something on the weekend, and things didn't fall apart right away. But within 30 days, I was doing the worst substances possible, the worst way that you could do them again. You know what I mean?
I know. With me, it sounds like we've been to the same places. I mean, my favorite drug at the end was more.
Oh yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
And what was I gonna say? Squirrel. But that's what my buddy Navarro said. But
love that guy.
I can't even remember what I was gonna say. I'll bring it up again in a minute.
Bring it up. And that's another. I love that thing about working with people that are in recovery is we can do that. We can be like, you know what, there was a really good thought there, but there it went. If it comes back, I'll share it with you. And it's totally fine.
It's fine, dude. We don't even worry about it.
No, don't even worry about it. But yeah, so but eventually it led me back down into I was being a full-on menace to society. It wasn't good. I got arrested. I'm driving on the boulevard. Apparently you're not supposed to drive on the sidewalk, and that happens sometimes if you can't keep your head up, though. You know what I mean? I sideswiped a tree, which I'm still very grateful to this day it wasn't a person. You know what I mean? And went to jail. Thank goodness, it's the first time I'd ever been arrested. I've been messing around in this town since middle school, and I'd never been arrested with a substance on me, gotten caught that way. You know what I mean? And I got arrested, and there was a lot of substance with me, and I got out. And at first, I thought, I'm still going to keep on doing what I was doing, and I was just going to do it smarter and everything right in front of them, blah blah blah. And I ended up overdosing for the first time. I'd never legitimately overdosed, but I did. And I got fired from this job. I work on a call floor. There's a bunch of special people there, but I'll give a shout out to Shane Jones. He's still my boss today. And anyway, long story short, he gave me another chance. He fired me. I came back. I cried. I'm like, please give me another chance. I mean, it was either I was going to go back to try and be a dope man menace to society, or I was going to hold on to that job somehow. And him and some other guys at that company said, we'll give you another chance. And for some reason, that's what held for me. And
you needed it.
I needed it. I needed it. It was I finally saw the division. It's like I either need to do this recovery thing 100%. I'm not a guy that can just use recreationally. I'm just not that. I ruined myself. I remember back in the day, it seemed like I could. Whether or not that's true is irrelevant at this point. It progressed to the point.
Like you just said the key word, it's a progressive disease.
Oh yeah.
And, some people say, well, I only drink alcohol. It's not that bad. And all power to the person that can drink 2 drinks, and that's great for them. I'm not judging them. But, go ahead.
No.
But I tell you what, over years and watching the progression of it, before they know it, it could sneak up on them real easy. And I remember what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So I was talking about, my favorite drug was more at the end, but I was going to say, now I forgot again. Don't tell me this.
I love it.
Oh, no. That's awful.
It'll come back. Third time will be the charm.
I got it. Hold on. Let me get this. Oh, so at the end of my recovery, I was I didn't care about meetings. Everyone's you ever done the 12 steps? Yeah, I'd done the 12 steps. I didn't even know what the 12 steps were. I just knew there was 12 of them. But I would try to do one drug to get off the one drug that it was most addicted to.
Oh yeah.
And then when in my head I was saying, and then when I'm done with that craving, then I'll get off that one with this drug, and then just only drink. Like this is my mind.
Yeah. No, I did the merry-go-round, the rosies, and it got to the point for me like there were certain substances that I abused that I really didn't even like that much. I mean, I didn't like the way they made me feel. I didn't like what they did to me, but I needed to change the way that I felt. So it didn't matter. I would do that, and I would abuse it anyway, just because I couldn't stand being in my own skin. You know, I couldn't sit with myself. Honestly, I still have a hard time about it. Anybody knows me, I keep my life pretty busy.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, I'm always going and everything. Me in a room by myself alone does not happen very
I tell people,
often,
hey, I treat my brain like a bad neighborhood. I don't go there alone.
Yeah. It's still, and it's something that I'm working on. But yeah, I'm glad you brought up the 12 steps. You know, like that's something that I'm working on. I haven't been through them all yet and everything, but to do that for me, to do this recovery thing 100%, I wanted to. I've heard people talk about this and working with the sponsor and things like that. So I went to a fellowship that I found my spot in and everything, and did everything they said for a while. You know what I mean? Yeah, and it's helped. There's so many people there that I mean, it took a lot of people to help me get to where I'm at today. To, you know, and it's funny. We can celebrate the little accomplishments. Most people don't want to celebrate having the right sticker on our license plate of a car, you know what I mean?
So true. Or everything is a first.
Yeah, or having insurance on that vehicle. Like I remember the first day that I was driving in a vehicle that was licensed, registered, insured, and I had a valid driver. Like everything there wasn't one thing that was out of place, and I don't think that has happened for like 10 plus years. I mean, it had been a long time. And I didn't used to be, you know, an irresponsible person, you know what I mean? But I lost all of that when I hit that bottom and everything and got fired from this job. Like I didn't remember if there was any good person in me at all, if there was any responsibility at all and everything. It's just my white flag was flying. It was just like, please just. I was done making decisions on my own, you know, asked a lot of help.
That's where you need to be.
Yeah, it is, you know. I get a lot of questions from people, you know, that have seen the before and the after, and they'll see other people that are out there struggling. I had a cool person call me last night that I hadn't talked to for a long time. It was really cool that she called me, but she was worried about a person that she cared about. She's like, this person's struggling. She's like, they need help. I'm like, oh, I get it. I'm like, do they want help? She's like, I don't think so.
That's the question.
I'm like, you know what? She's like, what do I do? They just need it. And I'm like, you remember me. Like, how many times did everybody tell me that I needed help that I didn't listen? You know what I mean? And that's the horrible thing about it, being where I'm at now and seeing the pain that people that don't understand they're causing it yet and that don't want the help yet are causing, just like I did for so many years to the people that supported me and cared about me. It's rough.
Yeah,
it's rough.
Well, in the addict's mind when they're using it, is they're on my mindset for me. I should just stick to me.
Yeah.
But is I'm only hurting myself.
Yeah.
If they're sad about it, that's their problem. Yeah. I'm not hurting them.
No. And they just don't understand. I got this.
Yeah.
They don't get
tomorrow.
it. Yeah.
Everything's gonna change.
Everything's fine. You know what I mean? Yeah. So many years went through that, but in my opinion, for me, I mean, nobody could have convinced me that I had a problem. Nobody could have convinced me that I needed help until I wanted it, until I needed it, until I was willing, and you just can't. It's a losing battle. So that's rough. So today I try and give that back, this little bit that I've been given and everything. It is possible to come out of those worst places.
Where are you at today, man? How long you been clean? What's going on?
It's been about 20 months. Which is a miracle. Good. I have not.
One day is a miracle.
Oh, one day it really is. 20 months is just insane. And it really is just one day at a time. Like I remember in the beginning, just every day was such a big deal, and now Now, they're still big deals. You know, every day I wake up, there's one point every day of my life that I'm like, man, I haven't thought about where my drugs are or how I'm going to get more one time at all today. And that's a freaking miracle
That's
to me.
a miracle.
I remember waking up and needing to, use the restroom in the morning. But before I could even go do that, I would have to know where that stuff was. If I didn't have that stuff, I would get on my phone. I would sit there doing the shake dance, texting people and calling people. I could not do normal life functions until I had that taken care of, until I had that initial problem solved. Nothing was happening in my life. Nothing.
I agree.
And it's not like that today. So I mean things are good. I work at a local treatment center, and I try to do service with most of them.
Can you say who it is?
Yeah, I work with Steps Recovery.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah,
I hear so many good things about them.
They're good, and I think all of our treatment centers here. I mean, I plug Renaissance Ranch and Lions Gate as well. There's the list of people those places are good. We got a lot of resources here in St. George for people that are wanting it, and then the fellowships as well. You know what I mean? We've got a lot, and I try and stay plugged in. I was telling you earlier, I feel like then there is, there's a lot of survivor's guilt. Like I've lost a lot of folks, a lot of people pass away from these kind of bad decisions and this disease, that's between our ears.
Yeah.
And don't know why I'm here, but I know I'm not here. I'm not here to be out there being a douchebag anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? I finally got to that point.
Yeah.
But like to give back. I like to stick there with people that are trying that just in that early phase, not even knowing if they can do it. I didn't know if I could do it. First of all, I didn't know if I deserved to do it, and then the second of all, is it even possible? Is it possible to go from where I'm at now, just hopeless?
Yeah.
Broken, just nothing inside,
Let me ask you this, JR. Yeah. Is there anything cooler to you? Because I know the answer for myself, but anything cooler than watching someone from day one and then seeing them in 2 years or, a year?
No. There's not. There really isn't. See those light come back on, see people start dealing with their feelings and emotions in a healthy way, you know what I mean? Start being productive, I get to work with these guys that are coming out of treatment. The first time they start buying groceries for themselves and everything like that. Those little accomplishments, big boying.
I remember I remember my mom. We were driving down the street and she said, "We're going into Zion's Bank and you're going to get a checking account." I said, "You're crazy. I'm not going into that place. They won't give me a checking account. But my credit's so horrible. They won't do it. I'm not doing it." And we sat in that parking lot for 20 minutes, and I treated her so bad. Yeah. We went in and I got one, and I was like, "Whoa, that wasn't that bad."
Yeah, I just did that recently too, and the exact same feelings. I'm like, I had a family member just telling me that I ought to bite the bullet. He works at one of the banks. I don't know if he'd want me to say who he is. He knows who he is. But anyway, he kept on telling me, come do this, and I'm like, I can't. I owe everybody. I've burnt every financial institution in Southern Utah. I'm sorry, I'm not on that step yet, but I'll get there.
Yeah.
But anyway, I went in and I got a checking account. They even gave me a credit card, a line of credit, and stuff like that. And I actually pay those bills today. They're still in good standing. It's been a few months. You know. I used to just.
I put out there that on my Facebook, I told my story for a long time, and I still do a little bit, but not like I did at first for the first couple of years. But I used to go to the mailbox, and if it wasn't a Publishers Clearinghouse check, it would go in the garbage.
Oh yeah, no, it's just
awful.
It didn't matter, and I'm still trying to recover from some of that stuff. It's rough to open up mail and look at that and everything because there's a lot of bad news in there.
We were talking with earlier, my wife. I had the worst credit score anyone could ever have, and she told me how to do it. She said, "You go get a secure credit card. You pay $300. It's your money, but you use it. You only use about $40 a month. Pay it off. $40 a month. Pay it off." By the time in a year, I had 2 of those with 2 banks. I bought a house. I bought a dang house a year ago.
See,
2 years.
I see people doing that stuff. People that I was close to, that I was out there with, and responsible jobs. Buying houses, buying cars. It's insanity to me. People that at the time I thought I was better than they're lost cause. They're not gonna. There's no way they're gonna make it out of that. And they show, and there's so many examples. It's not even funny. It's definitely possible.
That's another thing I always say is addiction doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care who you are, if you're the richest person in the world, but either does recovery.
No.
It doesn't
It
discriminate.
doesn't.
You can look at a guy and say, that guy don't got a chance, and bull crap.
Yeah.
He's the one that makes it.
Yeah. Those are, and that's the thing that I love about the recovery community, you know, like the diversity, you know, of these people that, I mean, today, probably the biggest thing that I'm grateful for is my connection with people. Like, I've got some intimate, vulnerable connections with all different kinds of people that we just share that same thing. We were broken, and now we've got hope.
And you're willing to work on yourself and be open about it.
Yeah,
that's the secret, is opening up.
Yeah.
Then once you do that, then they're like, wait, that's the way I think. That's the way I feel. And then the other guy's like, that's the way I feel. And everyone's like, hey, we can help each other. We can do this.
Yeah. Well, pain shared is pain lessened. You know what I mean? That's what we talk about. We talk about pain. Those feelings is what lots of us were trying to numb out for so long.
Away.
Just not wanting to deal with that stuff. You
So
know,
true.
So, yeah, I'm an advocate of feelings, which is a weird thing for me to say.
Yeah.
And spiritual principles, which is another weird thing for me to say. But those are the things that I try and be aware of and practice. You know what I mean? I don't have anything figured out, that's for sure.
Right.
But these are things that I'm aware of, and I notice that the more I'm aware of and try to focus on those things are getting better. You know what I mean?
And they'll continue to get better, bro. I promise. It's crazy to see where I am. I told you I had my 7-year-old son. He's 12 now, and I had grocery bags of clothes with me and him, and that I didn't have anything like a lot of people have their old yearbooks and a lot of photos and a lot of trophies or something. I had nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. But now I got like things.
Well, that's stuff.
And that's not what it's about.
That's not what it's about. But I mean, those things still. I've got boxes of that stuff. You know, the old yearbooks and everything. And it's almost, I don't know. I still got that stuff gives me anxiety. It's cool letting that. I'm a pack rat. You know, I would hold on.
That's my wife.
I would hold on to that stuff. Yeah. Are you? Oh no, she's saying no.
Yeah, she's lying. I have to throw stuff away, and she doesn't know for like a year.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I do. I hold on to that stuff, and it's cool. Non-attachment, you know. I feel like we want to attach to ideas and things and everything like that. And letting go is a real thing. Just letting that stuff go and starting over and just letting it come. And I don't know. Cool. There's cool principles that you learn about in this recovery. And then I started thinking, man, I don't know how normal people get through life.
There's no normal people. That's the secret.
That
Understanding that no one's normal. That's the more that I live and the more I go into recovery. Even people that you thought were normal, they have problems. They struggle. Everyone's addicted to something or going through something or knows someone.
That's something that I feel like we're grateful for is the people that you meet in recovery and everything. That's one blessing that you get is you got people that you learn how to deal with these life things. You know what I mean?
Oh, you did this? You went through this? How did you do it?
Yeah.
Well, I listened to this guy that did it, and this guy listened to this guy that did it.
And it might not have anything to do with, honestly, addiction. It's about living life on life's terms.
Exactly.
That's what we're all trying to figure out how to do.
Yeah.
We didn't know how to do that.
We sucked at it.
Yeah, we sucked bad at it. You know what I mean? We wanted to change that, and we wanted to numb out, and we wanted to have something in us to make all that kind of stuff easier. And now today, you got a group of people. We're all trying to figure it out together, and it works better when you actually let people help you. You know what I mean? So,
I love it.
Yeah, me
you got 1 minute. Do you want to finish with anything, or you want me to wrap her up?
No, I think we're good. Thanks for letting me. That did go.
You gotta give by. Call me maybe.
Huh?
You gotta give her some junk for volunteering you.
Oh, Sherry? Yeah. That was Sherry. That's what I was talking about earlier. That's the girl that started this whole thing for me in the emergency room. So.
Oh, that was her.
Yeah, that was her. That was her.
So
That's
cool.
who started this whole thing. She is good friends with my first wife, who's amazing. You know what I mean? And yeah. So anyway, just thanks for having me on. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you very much. I love you. Yeah.
I've had the best conversation with you, JR. I know I met you. We keep saying that. I know we met somewhere and we know each other. But the fact of the matter is we both are in recovery, so we know each other.
Oh yeah.
And I have had a great time today. I appreciate you. You're a strong man. You're going to go places in this world, and don't let no one tell you otherwise. You keep putting one foot in front of the other and keep chugging along.
Well, thank you very much.
There's resources out there. There's hope. My buddy JR works at Steps Recovery. There's many recovery centers. There's 12-step fellowships. It's AANA, LDS. Who came on here? You, Sarah. They have their own programs. but like it was said, the fellowships are inside of those. So you got to get to one to find the fellowship that you fit in. It's something we don't talk about openly because those are serious friendships. That it's a bond. It's a blood oath almost.
It's those connections.
Yeah.
Those connections are, like I said, those are the things that I cherish the most in my life today is those connections.
Likewise.
Yeah.
All right. Well, join us next week. I think we'll be here Christmas Eve. Maybe just me and wifey. I don't know. I'm going to try to get Sherry on here, though. She ain't getting off the hook.
She was supposed to come today. She was on the fence about it, so we'll keep on trying to last her in.
Okay, I'm going to message her.
Yeah, she does a lot of good stuff for this community.
Yeah, she seems like she does amazing.
Yeah.
So, all right, brother. Well, you guys have a good one, and we'll talk to you next week.